Five Minutes with Sean, maybe 10, starts right now, my friends. We are going to have a little two-part series this week and next week. I'm going to be talking about one and the same, but two separate items. Number one, well, the series is about value, right? That's what I'm calling it. It's just value. The first part is knowing your value as a person. And that's what we're going to cover today. Next week on the show, you're going to hear me talking about how to know your product's value. Because as I've gone through my life, I found that people suffer from undervaluation of themselves and of their products in a routine basis. I, on the product side, would call myself among them. On the value of myself, I'm a pretty self-righteous bastard. So I have not really had a problem in undervaluing myself. My problem is probably more of an overvaluing, and I blame my parents for that because they were loving and supportive and told me I could do anything when they were probably wrong. You know what I mean? Love you, mom and dad, joking here. But that's the reality, right? That's how I grew up. That's what I was told. Do it. You can accomplish it. Well, then I started to do things and accomplish them. Then I really started to believe it, and it started just kind of snowballed. And then I got into sales, and sales was this like natural fit. So I understood my value. But the problem is that in understanding my value, who I am, it became tied to a dollar thing. My value, Sean as a person. Which in your early 20s, that's fine. Right? That's cool. Money driven. People used to ask me, Sean, you're in the car business. How do you sleep at night? I used to say, on a big pile of money. Why? Because that was the arrogant response to anyone trying to tear down my business, trying to tell me what it was. Because in knowing my value was to attack you with what it is that I had. That's how I thought that I was showing you my value. And that's what I associated with value. So that to me was kind of the genesis for me to first say, okay, I'm just going to chase money then. That's it. I'm just going to chase money. Whatever gets in the way, but I'm just going to chase money. Because my value, Sean's value, is tied to the amount of money that I can make. Okay? Seems fair. I mean, you get in the car business, start making six figures before you can have a drink legally. It'll change your mind. It'll get you thinking about things. But what I didn't realize is that my value was more of who I am as a person, who I am to the people I surround myself with, which at that time was an ATM, because that was what I thought my value was. So why wouldn't those around me believe the same thing of me, right? They would think to themselves, well, if what he values is money and is what he has, then that's who he is. And so then that's how I don't want to say hands are out. And that's not, no one ever came to me and asked me to do something with money. They just knew that I had money, and if they brought it up to me, I was likely to say yes. It wasn't like it was, which again, that sounds bad too. But the thing is that, again, that's what I believed I was. So how unfair of that, how is it unfair of me to have other people think that way of me? Right? Well, then I met my wife. This was 2003, 20 years ago. And started to realize that my value might be as a person, might be more than just money. I might be able to be a provider, which doesn't always mean money. I might be able to be a husband and a best friend. These are things that, I mean, sure, my friends with, I mean, I work with someone, I mean, my business partner is someone I've known since the age of 13 years old. I mean, we're both 42 now. So, I mean, it's not that I don't know how to have long-standing relationships. I don't want to make it sound like that. But I never understood my true value, like, as a person until I met my wife. Because then she started to show me other things and started to open my eyes to other ways of doing things and approaching things and just sort of, this is so we couldn't have been more polar opposite, right? I told you I was raised with all this love and support. Maybe she didn't see as much, right? I had a ton of money. This girl put $5 in a gas tank just to get to work. Lived on a penny budget. But that she had it. She lived on her own. She fucking did it. No questions asked. Made it work. But it wasn't like we have that. I bring that gas thing up because that's like a joke we have. Where it was like, she first said it to me, like, when's the last time you put $5 in your tank? I'm like, who the fuck does that? You go to the gas station, you fill up your gas tank. That's what you go there for. Especially if you're in New Jersey, someone else got to pump it. You can't show up and have someone else pump $5. She's like, the fuck you don't. You got to wait till your next check comes on the... Whoa, right? Interesting. This woman was going to blow my mind, and she did. 20 years later, she does daily still. And it is about that value. It is about understanding who I am. And now I think I've become a better husband, a better friend. I'd like to say a better son. I don't know if people would, a better family member. I don't think people would agree with that because I've been able to see my own way. I've been able to see things for what they are. And that changes people, right? When you start to understand your value, you'll start to look at the value of the people around you, and you won't just give a free pass, at least I don't, to people that are I'm related to. That wasn't, first of all, it wasn't my choice. None of that. How I got here, not my choice. Who I'm blood relatives with, not my choice. Okay? But as an adult, I choose who I surround myself with. That's a real fucking choice. And I'm going to make that choice for me every time. I don't have children. So I got one round trip on this deal. And I'm going to do it every cent of the way my way. No questions asked. But knowing my value has changed my trip tremendously. And it parlays into my company. That, again, when I started this company a decade ago, I thought this is going to be a fucking moneymaker. We're going to do it. We're going to be $1 million company in a year. Oh my God, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. So stupid. Money. You hear all that? Money, milestone, money, milestone. What the fuck was I thinking? And because of that, we had a different mentality of what we thought the company would be. The second we changed that mentality, you kind of had to let money go by the wayside mentally, because the new way forward was with our product, right? How we were going to value that product. That's where things got complicated, because I was just struggling with my own value. And I figured out that because before I started Car Business, I was on a consulting gig that I do bitch about all the time as being a time suck for me. It taught me a lot, let's be honest. So during that time, what I learned about myself, being out of retail after a decade and a half and being out on my own, not in a store 70 hours and kind of being left to your own devices, I realized that time is what I value. I've been given one gift from God, and it is to be able to make money. Okay? That is what I do. I know I can monetize almost anything. I love it. I have a passion for it. I help people monetize their businesses all the time. I love it. Money. The goal of money is to get time, right? Well, the one thing you can't get back is time. And so when I realized that, when we started this company, I regret probably the first couple of years of this company because I didn't lean into that enough. Now, on the back half, it's all I do. People won't find me working a whole lot out in public or at shows and shit, because that's not important to me anymore. My life's important to me. My wife, what we do, how we hang out, where we hang out. That's what's important to me. The work, I love the work, but I do the work for like a solid 15 days and then I don't. That's how the schedule sets up. That's because in knowing my value, I had to know what I needed to set my life up around to make sure that I could maximize my value. That's an important part about it. It really is. So take time and start thinking about how you value yourself, because you will not be able to make it to a product valuation if you do not value yourself. So next week on the show, product valuation. You know, the only thing different about this is you're going to see this hat turned around, and episode 2 coming right at you. Thanks a lot. Have yourselves a great week.